Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
This was the fourth actual overdose that we had in the last 24 hours.
We've reported to you before on the heroin epidemic that's gripping the White Earth Reservation community. Tonight, word of another death along with 3 other overdoses.
Authorities want to help but say it's hard to do so when the people involved are not talking. Valley News Team's Clint DeRose has the latest.
23-year-old Marissa Sargent is another death contributed to the rising tide of opioid addiction on the reservation, something that those that live in the area know too well.
And it knows no boundaries. It affects everybody, the whole community.
Authorities think that the heroin making its way into the area is being brought in from big cities like Chicago and Detroit.
They're coming up, they're basically getting people hooked on heroin, and then they're going from there. And the demand even gets higher and higher.
Officers and deputies say that most people who are caught with heroin or are saved from overdosing won't talk to law enforcement, fearing retribution.
9 times out of 10, they're not willing to cooperate with us on where they've gotten the drugs from.
Another cause for concern for local law enforcement is what are called narc parties, which is when one person with Narcan watches over other people as they shoot up with heroin. The trend is especially dangerous because getting doses of Narcan slowly builds up your immunity to the drug, meaning that its life-saving effects could be reduced when an addict needs them most.
We had a person in jail here that we sent through court that was had been hit 5 times, 5 different times with Narcan.
Another chapter in a community's struggle against addiction. On the White Earth Reservation, Clint DeRose, Valley News Live.
Right now, all of the overdoses are being investigated as separate incidents. Authorities say they are working with other state and federal organizations and urge anyone with information on these overdoses to contact them.
The North Dakota Insurance Commissioner says President Trump's plan to halt payments to insurers under the Obama-era health care law could cause some serious issues for people in the state. The executive order could raise health insurance costs by as much as 10% for up to 42,000 state residents. The commissioner plans to ask insurers who sell individual policies to absorb some of the impact to keep costs down for consumers, but this move also has the potential to bring another insurer back to North Dakota. Medica earlier announced it was leaving due to uncertainty over the cost-sharing reductions. Those subsidies help make insurance affordable for people with modest incomes. Minnesota is part of a joint lawsuit filed against the action. The North Dakota Attorney General's office isn't commenting on whether it will join that suit.
President Trump is threatening to terminate America's participation in the Iran nuclear deal if Congress and U.S. allies don't make changes. In a move he has long hinted at, the president refused today to certify to Congress that Iran is in compliance with the 2015 agreement. But he stopped short of scrapping America's participation in the deal. The agreement dropped a variety of sanctions on Iran in exchange for that country making cuts in its uranium enrichment program. The president says he'll work to counter Iranian support of terror groups, slow down their missile program, and slap new sanctions on an elite Iranian military unit. Congress must now decide whether to attach new conditions to the agreement or reimpose sanctions on Iran's nuclear program that were ended as part of the deal.
There are several reports of a small plane crash on the Mississippi River near the Twin Cities. Authorities at the scene say that one body has been found after the plane hit power lines and then crashed into the river. There are also reports that at least 3 people were in a Cessna airplane when it went into the water.
A Minnesota man is facing multiple felony charges after allegedly shooting at a plane in Polk County. Chad Olson, a Fertile, is facing attempted murder and second-degree assault charges. He's accused of firing at a passing plane near the Fertile Municipal Airport. No one was injured. Bond for Olson was set at $200,000.
It's Friday, so it's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Police say Reina Perez is wanted for a probation violation and possessing drug paraphernalia. Call your local law enforcement agency if you have any information on her whereabouts.
A motorist was given a ticket yesterday for distracted driving after causing a crash on the Red River Bridge. No one was hurt, but it backed up traffic along the interstate. Across the country, more than 3,400 people were killed from distracted driving in just 1 year. Laws have been implemented across the country, but North Dakota Highway Patrol Captain Brian Niewind says it's the driver's responsibility to be safe.
When I take my eyes off the road and I'm putting my attention towards something else, even if it's for a few moments, for a few seconds. Lots of things can happen when you're traveling 25, 35, 75 miles an hour.
Technology isn't the only distraction for drivers. Captain Newin says he's also seen people eating, reading a book, and putting on makeup.
Firefighters are slowly gaining ground on the wildfires torching Northern California. But the numbers keep rising. Over 30 people have been killed, 5,700 homes and businesses destroyed.
Reporter Chris Martinez has an up-close look from the night the fires broke out.
Dramatic body cam video from first responders Sunday night shows the desperate rush to get people out of harm's way.
Come on, she's disabled. All right, let me get her feet. Let me get her feet.
A sheriff's department cruiser drove through neighborhoods.
This is a mandatory evacuation order. Leave your homes.
And then out on foot, waving cars away.
Go, 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 go!
9,000 firefighters are now battling the multiple blazes torching Northern California, and they've made some progress.
We're really excited that it's going to be, we're making a big difference out there.
The sheriff's office is concentrating on missing persons, more than 200 still unaccounted for. Recovery teams with cadaver dogs are trying to locate the remains of those who were lost. Alejandro Ortega managed to escape his home as flames engulfed his neighborhood.
It's like the worst feeling ever. Like, it's the worst.
Firefighters are fanned out across the region, many of them charged with putting out hot spots to make sure the flames don't reignite.
At least 5,700 homes and businesses have been destroyed, including Sweet's Restaurant. The owner brought employees together Friday for a lunch and to pick up their final paychecks.
Our payroll is almost $90,000 a month, and so it's all, it's all going to affect it. It's going to just have a rippling effect through the economy.
The state's fire chief said it could be weeks or longer before investigators can determine the causes of the wildfires. Chris Martinez, CBS News, near Calistoga, California.
With a number of deaths, this is the deadliest wildfire outbreak in California history.
A North Dakota couple is heading to the West Coast to help with relief efforts for those wildfires. Carol and Alan Becker are volunteers for the Red Cross. They will head to Fargo to pick up a Red Cross emergency vehicle before beginning the nearly 1,700-mile trip to Mather, California. The Beckers will spend 2 weeks there delivering food and water to people displaced by the fires.
I feel it's what we were called to do, and something we need to do to help these people get back on their feet. Because there's a lot, sound like to me, there's a lot of homes and some people are without power too.
This is the Beckers' 4th Red Cross relief trip in the past 14 months. They were also in Texas to help after Hurricane Harvey.